So today, September the 8th at 4:05, we are now inviting the world into what I feel is a very, very important moment, not just for me to be a part of inviting the world into the experience of you as a child of God, but as a mommy on a mission.
Yeah.
Today, the world gets to understand what it is to be a mother, a parent of a child who took their life. I guess my first question would be, how does your day unfold? What does your life look like now without Manny?
So my life now is extremely different because every morning I would wake up to a phone call from him and we would talk and I'd get to hear his voice, and I don't get that anymore. That's not, a normal thing for me now. Now I have to wake up and I have to tell myself that I'm not going to get that phone call and I'm not going to be able to hear his voice, and that the reality of the situation is that my son is gone. And sometimes I have to remind myself that, because I'll see something or hear something and I'll want to text him and then realize, like, you can't do that. You can't text him because he's not going to respond back.
So I want to take you back to that very moment that you received this phone call. Can you describe?
Yeah,
what
so
it's like?
It was Sunday, July 30th, and I usually get up in the morning. I'm an early riser, so that particular Sunday, for some reason, I was still asleep at 7 o'clock, but my phone had been ringing and I didn't hear it. So I'd missed 13 phone calls from the hospital. And my younger son comes in, just bum rushes through my door, and he's like, "We got to get up. Emmanuel's in the hospital." And so I jumped up out of bed, brushed my teeth real quick, threw something on, and then I was like, "Well, where's he at?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know, some hospital." Like, I didn't have all the information. So I finally called the number that I had been, had the missed phone calls from. And they said, "You just have to get to this hospital. We can't really send any information to you."
So let me stop you there. Being that you're an early riser and you missed those phone calls, before you spoke with them, was there any type of feeling?
Well, I just knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. And then I even said, I didn't want to say that to my son, my younger son, but I knew something was wrong, because I knew that why would they not release any information to me? You know what I mean? Like, or they didn't give any details to my nephew. My nephew was at the hospital and they said, "If you're not his mom, we cannot release any information to you." The only person that he has on here as his emergency contact is his mom. So his girlfriend and his cousin were at the hospital and they couldn't get any information from them. So I knew something was up. I didn't think it was that, but I knew something was like going on.
So before we unfold the day, just introduce yourself and your family setting so that everybody can understand. I have the privilege of knowing you to be this powerful, community loving, almost like an infection that just takes over the youth and bring healing in so many different ways. But describe to everybody inside of your home.
So I was a single mom for over 10 years. I raised my boys pretty much by myself. All my family lives in Illinois, and I have a good support group of like girlfriends and friends or whatever, but predominantly it was just me and my boys here. And so I tell people all the time that I pride myself in being a mom. I could be great at a lot of things. I can be great as an education, an educational teacher. I can be great as an instructor, but if I fail as a mother, then I've lost, that's the most important job anybody would ever give me. So if I fail as a mother, then I failed. None of my other achievements matter. So I took being a mother very seriously. And all my girlfriends knew that. They knew, Joyce doesn't play when it comes to, yeah. And even to the point that when my kids got older and they were doing sports and things like that, I didn't really go out as much. I made my friends come to my house because I didn't want to leave my kids by themselves. And they were older, and I could, but I didn't. So for me, I've given blood, sweat, and tears to being a parent, to being a mother. I made sure that my job worked around their schedule. So when they were off of school, I was off of school. When they, when they had breaks, I had breaks. And that's just kind of how we did it. And then my other jobs that I do, I just took them with me. So if I was at the gym and I was instructing, whatever it was, they went with me. If I was mentoring young people, they came with me. So we were very, very close, extremely close, because it was just me and my boys. And I would always tell them that we're a team. Me, you, I would say me, Emmanuel, and Isaiah, we're a team. And there's no I in T. So we have to work together because we're all that we have.
So with that being said, and with people that really know you, they know that your boys were your life, but Emmanuel was your first love.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So now let's go back to the moment where you realized that this phone call means that we're headed in a direction that news is not good. So
my son worked as an armed security guard, and that's a dangerous job. I don't think people realize how dangerous that is. He had gotten into a lot of fights. He would call me and tell me that, he'd gotten into fights and things like that. But that's before he was actually armed. This was when he was just doing security without any weapon. But so the fear of something going down was always a real fear because things had gone down. So when I got that phone call, I thought, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought someone hurt him. Maybe he kicked somebody out of, the place and they came back. So I for sure thought that he was hurt.
But you definitely did not think.
But I did not think the news that I was going to get. I never, no, at all.
So now let's go from you've gotten a call. Evidently you and your youngest son jumped in the car. It was just the two of you.
And my husband.
And your husband. Mm-hmm. So all three of you all left.
Yes. And my younger son left in his own car because he felt like I was taking too long. So he got in his car and he left. And then me and my husband got in our vehicle and then we left. And finally I called the hospital and they explained to me there's several different hospitals, and they explained to me which one he was at. And so we headed that way. It was a 45-minute drive. And as we're heading that way, I just